I used to believe that love found you at the right time in the right moment. With the right person, people always say you'll feel it when it happens. That something inside your chest will shift. That your heart will recognize the person even before your mind does. And maybe that's true. Maybe your heart really does know first. But sometimes, your heart recognizes something that isn't real at all. I met him on a night I wasn't even looking for anyone. I was lying on my bed, wrapped in an old blanket, listening to the soft buzzing of the fan and scrolling mindlessly through my phone, the kind of night where silence feels heavier than loneliness. His profile didn't stand out. A simple smile, a calm face, eyes that felt warm even through a screen. His bio wasn't dramatic or poetic. It said just one thing. I understand more than I speak. I should have scrolled past. I should have ignored it. But something in that sentence felt like a hand reaching straight into my chest and touching the quiet parts of me. So I messaged him, and he replied in seconds as if he had been waiting for me long. Before I ever typed a single word, he didn't flirt. He didn't brag. He didn't try to impress me. He asked gentle questions. Soft questions. The kind that make you feel seen without feeling exposed. What makes you feel safe? What keeps you awake at night? What was the last thing that made you smile for real? No one had ever asked me things like that. People talk to be heard. He talked to understand. And little by little, I gave him pieces of myself he had never given anyone before. Every night became ours. Screens glowing in the dark, hearts connecting through pixels, messages turning into calls, calls turning into hours that passed like minutes. He remembered everything: the sound of my laugh, the way I breathe when I'm nervous, the things I hide behind jokes. He listened to the silence between my words and somehow understood them better than the words themselves. I didn't fall for him suddenly. I fell slowly, quietly, carefully, the way someone falls after being hurt too many times. He made me feel chosen. He made me feel safe. He made loneliness feel like a place I no longer lived in. And I believed God. I believed that someone like him could only be real. But then came the moment when I said the sentence that started the unraveling of everything. I want to meet you. The silence on the call didn't last long, but long enough for something inside me to notice. He laughed softly, but it wasn't the same laugh. The warmth was different. The tone slightly off. The air shifted. We will, he said. Double quotes soon. Double quotes soon. A word that feels like a promise until it becomes a delay. But I didn't question it. Because when your heart wants something, your mind finds ways to protect the lie. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. And every time I asked, he had a reason, a believable reason, a gentle reason, a reason that sounded sad. In Nato silence my doubts, I'm busy with work. My mom is sick. I'm traveling. I'm not ready yet. I want our first moment to be perfect. And I waited. Because waiting felt easier than losing him. But the truth has a strange way of revealing itself. It doesn't arrive with violence. It enters quietly through a mistake, a crack in the story, a detail that doesn't match. For me, it was a photo, a simple photo he sent one evening, him sitting in a cafe, coffee in hand, a book by the window, something I had seen 100 times from him. But this time, my heart noticed what my eyes didn't want to see. The reflection in the glass window didn't match the man in the photo. The shape was different. The posture was different. Even the hair was different, like a picture borrowed From someone else's life. My fingers trembled. My breath turned shallow. My mind raced. I zoomed in, studied the edges. The light, the background. The reflection. And in that moment, I felt something break. Not pain, not betrayal, but disbelief. The man I loved online might not exist offline. But denial is a powerful thing. So I asked him gently, "Where is this cafe?" He replied instantly, as if prepared. As if waiting. "It's a place near my office. I love going there." But something in his answer felt scripted. And suddenly everything felt scripted. Every message, every laugh. Every memory that night. I didn't cry. I didn't accuse him. I didn't fight. I just whispered one sentence into the darkness of my room. What if I fell in love with someone who doesn't exist? And the silence that followed was the first honest thing he had heard in months. After that night, nothing felt the same. Every message he sent sounded different. Every word carried a weight he couldn't ignore anymore. Something inside me had shifted, not because I wanted to stop loving him, but because my heart finally understood that something wasn't right. But the heart is stubborn. It clings to hope even when the truth is screaming. So I didn't confront him immediately. I told myself I needed proof. I told myself I needed time. I told myself I needed to be absolutely sure. But deep down, I think I already knew. The next morning, I tried to act normal, tried to sound normal, but he sensed it instantly. "You're quiet today," he said. "Are you okay?" I wanted to say yes. I wanted to pretend. I wanted to believe that everything was in my head. But pretending felt heavy. So I asked softly, "Can you send me a video? Just your voice, your face, something real." He paused. A second too long, a silence too cold. Then he wrote, "My camera is broken right now. Bad timing." I know, my stomach twisted. Not because the excuse was unbelievable, anyone's camera can break, but because he had used that exact excuse before. Same wording. Same timing. Same gentle sadness. A recycled lie. Still, I didn't push. I didn't argue. I didn't accuse him. I simply texted back, "I miss you." His reply came instantly, "I'm here. You have me." But I didn't know how me was anymore. Later that day, I did something I had never done before. I searched for his photo online. Reverse image search. A stupid, desperate attempt to prove my fears wrong. Part of me prayed that nothing would show up, that the results would be blank, that the universe would tell me I was just overthinking. But the search didn't come back empty. The photo appeared on another profile. Another name. Another city. Another life. A man who looked exactly like him but wasn't him at all. My hands shook violently. My vision blurred. My breath came out in pieces. I clicked another link. And another. And another. Every single picture I had ever sent may belong to someone else, a stranger living a completely different life, miles away, with no connection to me. I felt my chest cave in, like the air had been punched out of me. I wrote to him immediately, "I found your pictures on another account." He replied in seconds, as if he had been waiting for the question. "Oh, that's my old profile. I forgot about that." But it wasn't old. It wasn't forgotten. It was active. It had recent posts. New. COMMENDS, a real life happening. Behind it, I typed again. Why did the captions have a different name? Another pause, longer this time. He wrote, It's complicated. Complicated, a liar's favorite word. I could feel my heartbeat in my throat, in my ears, in my fingertips. What's your real name? I asked. Minutes passed. Then 20. Then 30. No reply. I stared at the screen until my eyes burned. Until the hope inside me felt thin. Fragile, exhausted. Finally, hours later, a message popped up. My past is messy. I don't want to lose. That wasn't an answer. That wasn't truth. That was manipulation. But I still tried to understand, to reason, to hold on to the possibility that there was more to the story. So I asked again, what is your real name? His reply this time sent a chill through me. That's not important. Not important. The name of the man I loved was not important. He added, you love me, names don't change that, but names do matter. Identity matters. Reality matters. I felt something inside me begin to break slowly, painfully, like glass cracking under pressure. I want to meet you, I said again, my voice shaking in the empty room. He didn't reply. Minutes. Hours. Nothing. Until finally, at 3:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. I can't meet you. 3 words. 3 final blows. I typed with trembling fingers. Why? His answer was the truth he wasn't prepared for. Because I'm not the man you think I am. My heart stopped. I stared at that sentence until the letters blurred. Until my breathing turned uneven. Until my tears soaked the pillow. I asked the question that destroyed whatever hope I had left. Then who are you? He didn't hesitate. Someone who only exists online. My tears fell harder. I clutched the phone like it was the only thing keeping me from falling apart completely. He wrote again. I didn't want to hurt you, but the person you fell in love with is just a version I created. I never meant for it to go this far. I covered my mouth to keep the sob from escaping. All the nights we talked, all the secrets I shared. All the memories we built, all the feelings I had, all of them were for someone who didn't exist. I typed shakily, why me? His reply shattered me. You were lonely, and I was good at becoming exactly what lonely people need. I dropped the phone. My hands went numb. My chest felt like it was caving in because he didn't fall in love with me. He steadied me. He shaped himself into everything I wanted, everything I missed, everything I was vulnerable to. He built an entire person just to fill my emptiness, and I let him. He texted one last time, I'm sorry. Goodbye. Then his account disappeared. Vanished. Deleted. Erased. Like he was never there. Like the man I loved never existed at all. And in that moment, I realized the most painful truth. I didn't lose him. I lost the version of him that I created in my own heart. Because sometimes the person who loves you online was never a person to begin with after he disappeared. Silence didn't feel peaceful. It felt violent. It felt loud. It felt like a scream trapped inside a room with no doors. My phone stayed on my bed for hours. Screen dark, like a grave where something precious had been buried. I kept staring at it, waiting for a message that would never come, a confession, a clarification, a miracle. But nothing came. Not that night. Not the next morning. Not ever again. It felt unreal how someone who lived in my heart every day could vanish so easily from the world. How a voice that shaped my night scowl disappear like it never existed. How a person I trusted cold dissolve into nothing but pixels and memory. I kept asking myself the same questions. Was he real at all? Were any of the words real? Were any of the moments real? Did he ever care? Did he ever feel anything? Did I matter at all? But every time I tried to answer, the truth confronted me again. I wasn't in love with a man. I was in love with a ghost of me uncreated to feel wanted, to feel admired, to feel powerful. He was never there to love me. He was there to feel less alone in his own darkness. And I was the perfect target, soft-hearted, lonely, starved for connection. He didn't break into my life. I opened the door because he knocked gently. But healing doesn't come gently. Healing comes in waves, sometimes soft and warm, sometimes sharp enough to cut your breath. The first wave was denial. I kept checking his profile. Even after it disappeared, refreshing, retyping, searching. As if the internet would magically bring him back if I wanted it hard enough. The second wave was anger. Anger at him, at myself, at the naive version of me who believed in the softness of a stranger. The third wave was grief. Not for him, but for the conversations that kept me alive. For the nights that felt meaningful, for the love I thought was real. The fourth wave was truth. It came quietly, the way he once entered my life, soft, gentle, almost invisible. One afternoon, I sat on the floor beside my bed where we used to talk for hours. And I realized something heartbreaking. He didn't ruin my life. He filled an empty part of it that I refused to acknowledge. He became everything I wished someone would be: attentive, patient, gentle, understanding. He built himself out of the pieces I lacked. He wasn't a lie. He was a mirror reflecting what my heart was craving: someone who made me feel like I was worth listening to, worth loving, worth staying for. And the painful truth was this: I wasn't grieving the man. I was grieving the feeling he thought he gave me. But the deeper truth: he didn't give me that feeling. I gave it to myself from him. He was just the screen he projected my hope onto. Days passed, then weeks. And slowly, the pain softened, not because he apologized, not because he returned, but because my heart began to understand that losing something unreal can sometimes break you more than losing something real. One night, months later, I found an old recording of his voice on my phone, a saved voicemail from early days, when everything felt pure. My fingers hovered over the play button. My chest tightened. My eyes burned. And I pressed play. Hey, his voice said, warm, soft, familiar. I hope you slept well. You sounded tired yesterday. Take care of yourself today. Okay? I closed my eyes. My throat tightened. Tears slipped silently down my face. That voice, the voice I trusted, the voice I loved, the voice I built dreams with, never belonged to the person he thought it did. It belonged to a fantasy, a fiction, a shadow. I deleted the recording, not because I hated him, but because I finally understood that holding onto the voice meant holding onto a version of myself that believed love could exist without a real person behind it. He wasn't the love of my life. He was the lesson of my life, the lesson that taught me how dangerous loneliness can be when it starts believing in illusions. But the final lesson came quietly, late one night, when I whispered to myself, the man who loved me online and never existed offline. And somehow, finally, that truth didn't break me. It freed me.